Podcast. Real conversations with the people behind Bristol's businesses.
Welcome to the Bristol Business Podcast, where we sit down with local founders and business leaders and dig into their stories, their strategies, and what makes them tick. My name's Wayne. I'm the producer, and today your host. I'm joined by Gary Fisher from Mode Consult. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Wayne.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about Mode Consult?
Where do you want to start? Obviously, it's an interesting thing. I was chatting about this last night about trying to attract youngsters coming into the construction industry. So I went to Loughborough University and kind of fell into construction. Wasn't my first choice, but and we were chatting about this last night again. How did you get into the construction industry? And it's kind of like, well, I wanted to be this and that, and I started off as an astronaut, but didn't quite make it and fell into this. Not quite made it to the moon yet. But yeah, a lot of people fall into the industry, which is a lot of people my age fell into the industry. I guess we're trying to attract new people into the industry now, so it's a different game with things like this and Instagram and all sorts of socials. It's quite interesting. So yeah, I was at Loughborough University and saw. I'd applied to go to Loughborough University. Saw quantity surveying as a degree, or commercial management and quantity surveying at Loughborough, and I could play football for them as well. So it ticked a lot of boxes for me. Initially wanted to be an architect for my sins, and then ended up going into quantity surveying. So Loughborough for me was the best place to go for construction, and I could play football for them, as I said. So it kind of set me up quite well. And then everyone, and at Loughborough you had to be a sponsored student.
Okay. So
I was sponsored by Wimpy Construction back in the day. And from that, a lot of people went to London to work for their sponsor. I was offered a position I had a choice of going to London or Bristol. Never heard of Bristol. Not originally from Bristol, from Huddersfield up north, West Yorkshire. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give Bristol a go, because although I've moved to Bristol back in '95, but always worked in London.
Yeah.
But always came back at weekends or whatever, and now permanently working in Bristol and surrounding areas. But yeah, so that's initially where I came from, and then I've worked for contractors, clients, consultants, some high-end consultants working in the UK and abroad. So I've worked in London, Bristol, Bath, Wales, South Wales, up north, and then I've worked in Saudi and Dubai and places like that as well. So some big iconic schemes. And then just got fed up of working for people or working for larger companies and thought, you know what, I could do this better myself. And I wish, like everyone else says the same thing, wish I'd done it sooner, but it's having the balls to do it. We set up in 2019, just before COVID, so you can imagine the stress. I used to have long hair then. No, I didn't. But you can imagine the stress of it all, of going through COVID, which was quite an interesting time. But we used COVID to kind of gain momentum and go from there, really. So it's and we work in all sectors as well. So it's been some interesting times really during COVID, and now again we're trying to push forward, and there's a lot going on in Bristol, a lot going on in London, a lot going on everywhere really. So yeah, we're just trying to get hold of as much as we can and grow.
Yeah, Bristol obviously has got a reputation for it seems to be forever expanding. So has that helped you?
Yeah, I think Bristol, Bath, Cardiff, there are local major cities, as it were.
Yeah.
We've done some work in Manchester, starting to do some work in Birmingham, obviously London as well. So, and then if we can try and try and generate an office on the back of where our clients are, then it makes sense. But we're trying to do it differently. We don't want to be a large consultant like currently exists. We want to challenge the norm, challenge some of the the way things construction's. It's been the way construction's been for so long. It's kind of like trying to move it to that next level. Again, we were talking about it last night at dinner I went to, and how can we get away from traditional contracts? 30-day payment terms. What other industry would accept 30-day payment terms? If you take your dog to the vet, they don't say, "Oh, can you pay us in 30 days or 90 days?"
Yeah.
They say, "Can you pay us now, and then we'll do the work." It's crazy, mental.
So with Mode Consult, where is it commercial buildings? Is it residential? Or is it a mixture?
It's a real mixture. So that's as I say, that's kind of what got us through COVID. We've worked on sheds. We're working on high-end residential schemes. Working on starting to get into the public sector now as well. So mixture of private and public. Public sector is more challenging because they've got to go through procurement routes and frameworks and the like. But the private sector is where the entrepreneurship comes in, and we can kind of push the boundaries and try and do things in a new way. Which is, our mantra is to always think about things differently, question things when they come up, and do it there's always a different way. So that's what we're pushing, really.
So I noticed I follow you on a lot of the social medias, and you've been nominated and won a few awards recently.
Yeah, that's again, no one in our industry ever says thank you, really. So that's a real big thank you. We're generally up for a lot of awards and enter a lot of awards. We've won a couple in Bath, Bristol, and as I say, we've just been nominated in Bristol again for consultancy and is it best individual. Hopefully we find out later in Bristol as well, and Bristol Property Awards. So see where we go on that.
Oh, that's great news. That's good affirmation that you're doing a good job.
Yeah, again, we always say to Media Clash, who do all these awards, it's the only. I guess everyone votes for you, so but it's that is a big thank you, and we try and wind that back to the guys that were working for us as well. The early morning starts, working late, it's all appreciated, and that's the thank you that we get, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So also you mentioned like your team there and having a good team. What key factors do you consider when selecting members of your team for a particular project?
It's our hardest thing at the moment is trying to find good people. We have our wider Mode family, which is a series of consultants and contractors and engineers and architects that work for us. That's kind of what we say as our supply chain as a consultant. But we're also looking to grow as a core business internally. We use freelancers as well, which is a lot easier way to grow because you can turn the tap on and off as and when. But we know some good freelancers as well, so it's not just bringing in bods and putting them on a seat. We don't know them from Adam. We vet them really well, and for me, it's the hardest thing, trying to find good people. So we've set up alliances. We've set up our own training academy internally. So again, associating ourselves with local universities. So Loughborough obviously is the key one for us because I sit on the alumni, and then all the local universities like UE, Bristol. We've also spoken closely with Western College through the apprenticeship schemes and the T levels, because a lot of people are looking that way now, because it's less hassle, it's cheaper, and you don't have to you don't have to be in debt to go to college. Whereas degree level, a lot of students are thinking, why do I need to do a degree these days and get into debt 60, 70 grand just to get a degree? So it's all kind of moving. And again, we're trying to set up our own, through our academy, we're trying to set up our own, it's a hybrid between apprenticeship and degree level, and working with the universities to see if we can, so at the end of the day, when someone comes out of uni or college, they're rounded for what we need them for, and they hit the ground running rather than they come out of college or university and we have to invest that time and effort to get them to where they need to be.
Ah, cool. So what does a typical day look like for you then? Is there no typical day?
No, there's no typical day,
Okay.
and it's never ending at the moment. So it's kind of, I get up very early, take the dog for a walk, and that's where I set up my day, really. Obviously, the previous day, I try and plan for the next day. Get up very early, take the dog for a walk, listen to a podcast, listen to an audio book, and then just in my mind, and everything's written down, what I've got to do for that day. So I hate being late for things as well. So I try and, it's a Roy Keane scenario, set your watch 15 minutes fast. So I was here an hour earlier today.
You were.
But that was because I had a meeting down the road. So yeah, don't want to be reactive. I hate being reactive and I hate being late for things. So I try and get there 15 minutes before anything, which is a good trait to have and habit, and try and get into good habits. So yeah, I speak to my other half, and she says you're always here, there, and everywhere. So I'm bouncing from meeting to meeting. Then I've got to type up minutes, and sometimes I've just got to sit down, either work from home or work in the office, and just work through things to get things off the plate. But every day is completely different, yeah, which is why I enjoy it and why I've got so much energy to push forward.
Yeah, sounds like you need it.
Yeah, that's why I look tired today.
So what kind of projects have you got on at the moment? Can you share anything that you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, so again, a real mix. We've got a big office scheme. I won't say the client. Big office scheme in Uxbridge, which we've just completed, which is a large fit out for a large budget client. We have a large residential scheme, which is close to me in East Hartry, just outside Bristol, and I suppose it's classed as Baines. We've just finished a job in Glastonbury, which is a health and wellbeing centre for Glastonbury Council. That's still little bits to do on that as we're going through. We're looking at all sorts that are coming through at the moment as well in the pipeline. So large scheme, a large framework potentially for another blue chip client. Again, I won't say the client.
No.
Which we've submitted, and if we get on that, then it takes the business to another level because it's UK and Ireland. And yeah, we're looking for more residential schemes because we've had some just finish. And we're looking for office schemes. We've done some big sheds for Bristol Port Company.
Okay.
Which are a local large client with the port that's growing. So sheds are not rocket science, but again, we've assembled the team, made it work. And made it work for the client, even though they've got a big in-house team down at Bristol Port. Trying to get into airports. Again, speaking to Bristol Airport, but it's difficult to do some. They're always difficult to do some work for. Again, through frameworks and the like. So it's and then we're trying to grow as in sectors that we work in and grow geographically. So through some of the retail things that we've done. We got into the Manchester market, Birmingham market, and London market, obviously. So that's another way of how we're growing. But there's again, if we can offer different services. So if a client comes to us and wants building surveying, then we know some good building surveyors that we can take on and grow again. So it's kind of sectors, geography, service offerings is what we're looking at, and growth is what we're all about now.
So you mentioned you like to be prepared and surprises.
Not for this though.
So how do you manage client expectations when things do go wrong? Is that kind of a tricky thing in your ski? Because obviously things go wrong, in any industry, as I found out today. But obviously, just kind of it must be part of your day-to-day job is someone lets you down or it's.
Yeah, and we try and minimise that as much as possible because we're only working with people that we know and good people. And yeah, things do go wrong, but it's how you react to that.
Yeah.
So we make sure that we work with good people that we've worked with before. How did we react to it before? Well, this is what we did. This is what we put in place so it doesn't happen again, and try and get people that we're working with to learn from it. But if things do happen reactively, then we're just transparent with the client. We'd phone up the client and say, this has happened. This is what we're doing to rectify it. And it won't happen again. This is how we're going to do it. But we're just transparent. That is, through process and through costs as well. We would try and be as transparent as we can be, which is why clients come back to us time and time again to say, I was quite impressed with how you dealt with that, and you made me aware as early as you could, or through our risk registers that we put together, or risk management process. They'll sit down and go, I wasn't aware of that, or I didn't even think about that. Thanks for pointing that out for me. And we've done that on another job and we did it like this. And we're trying to be cutting edge as well. So some clients might say, it's too much of a risk to do it that way. But when they see the benefits and it's all about value, adding value to all our clients. So that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day.
Sure. So when you talk about like putting new processes in place and technology, how is that altered, or how do you see that altering your line of work in the future? Obviously, AI is massive and it affects everyone. Yeah. Is there anything like that you think is going to be big in your industry, and how you're going to use that?
100%. Yeah. I mean, AI is just happening, isn't it? It's just a way of, as you say, you looking at some of the questions on AI. I was looking at some of the answers on it. The way we put bids together, we use AI. Everything is you ask, if you don't know something, you ask AI, or is Google going to die out, that sort of thing. So a lot of our processes are all, what we're looking at doing is developing an app specific for our clients. So if they're doing like a framework, for example, is a good example, so that they can just go on, look at all their projects on that framework on the app. Say like they want to see where the cost plans are at, or where the program is at, and they can just do that, and then put it up on a big screen like behind you, and then share that to say like a board or someone like that. So it's easily accessible. These are the things we're looking at going forward, making everything electronic, dashboard reporting, apps. That's where everything's going at the moment. Trying to make sure that all our drawings are in Revit, so they can make some changes through the team via Revit, and it updates the cost plan, etc., etc. Use of AI is just gonna happen, isn't it? Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're trying to that is where we add value, really. Look at a client's process and say, well, have you thought about doing it this way, or have you thought about technology has brought this in, and we could perhaps do it this way or that way. Just look like contracts, for example. All our contracts at the moment are electronic. Can do it paper if that's the way they want to go, but everything's electronic. Even JCT Online, we use JCT Online. We can use NEC, so it's all online these days. So seeing a paper copy and someone asked me to print something off the other day, and I was kind of like, wow, I'll have to dust off the printer. I haven't used it.
Yeah. All the ink's jammed. Last time you used it. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So obviously you talk about technology and the rise of AI, but obviously, people respond to humans. So what skills do you look for, and what values do you look for when you look to work with someone?
I think we, again, talking about it last night, the leadership dinner, it's you can teach. It's looking for someone who, say a student, for example. We would look for someone who's willing to learn. So be a sponge is what we always say. And I went to a dinner with Clive Woodward, and he said his team were either rocks or sponge. Were you there?
No, but I remember I saw you posted about
it. Yeah. I did. Posted it on sponge or a rock. So he analysed his team, and they were either sponges or rocks. That's how he classified them. But I mean, we would say anyone to be a sponge, because you're always learning in construction. I'm always learning, and I'm always a sponge. So it's I mean, I'm also an APC assessor, so managing youngsters and trying to get them through. Well, not even sometimes you can go through your APC at any age these days. You always learn because things are always changing. Building regs are always changing. Regulations are all sorts of things are changing. So it's kind of like if I interview them and ask them questions, I learn as well because it's kind of I didn't know that. And being involved with the RICS, getting people coming through that whole process and getting chartered for me has been fantastic. It's a way of two-way street, isn't it? It's always a two-way street as I see it. So yeah, generally we would look for sponges who are just willing to learn, enthusiastic, want to work for a company that's, again, a two-way street. And as we grow, we don't want to lose that as well. So we're very personable. We're all about people. That is our strap line. Focus on people, because again, when you work in the large commercial world, you can go away from. We want to be a sharing, caring company that grows with our people as we grow, whatever age they're at, or whoever they may be. So whether they're coming in at grad level, senior PM, QS level, or even associate director level, we want them to grow. We want us to grow and grow together. So it's everyone's. It's all about driving that right culture from day one and making sure we maintain that culture as we grow.
So what would you, looking back now, so you started Mode in 2019?
Yeah.
So obviously even before then, what would you have done differently? Was there any lessons that you kind of look back on and think, that could have been a shortcut there, or not shortcut, but kind of a clearer route to where you are now? Or
well, there's lots of things I wish I'd done differently. But the main one for me, I think, we've tried to keep everything electronic and tried to keep everything mobile. So we work from anywhere. And I think that's quite potentially, we've got an office in Clifton, but we're very rarely there. We might come together or if there's a team meeting and utilize it. But you see a lot of people with these big swanky offices, and you think, wow, your overheads must be through the roof. So that's kind of like an advantage. We're kind of, as some of the bigger guys have got these big swanky offices, we just have an area where we can go. And these days you can, you can use any off-pod. There's one here, isn't there? You can drop in and use that as a meeting space or a what they called
hot desks and
things
like that.
That sort of thing. Or we work sort of type scenario where you can just drop in. But again, would I have a fully swanky office? I don't think I would. At first I thought, and that's where I need to get to.
Yeah.
That's where and as you get youngsters coming on board, you will need somewhere where they can sit with you and understand what you're doing, and you can explain that to them. But again, with technology these days, they can still learn from you in different ways. I'm working on sites as well, so they're out on site all day, and they can learn from that. And then we can either get together wherever that may be to have a meeting. They can learn from that as well. And then day to day, it's like making sure that they can stand up and, if they go to a meeting on their own, they're adding value to that whole process. They're not just sat there in the corner making notes. They can make notes at a meeting, but also add value, and the client can go, fantastic. That's the sort of thing we're looking for. So it's teaching them to stand on their own 2 feet, as it were.
Yeah, sure. So good communication. If you've not got a central hub, good communication is absolutely imperative.
Yeah.
So what about Gary himself then? So what do you like to do to relax? And how do you get away? Because it sounds like a very stressful, full-on job.
What should I do to relax? Well, I run and manage a local football team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's relaxing.
Tell us about that.
So I've only just this season taken over Chew Magna Football Club, which is just outside where I live. They were looking for a manager. I managed another team, but we merged two teams basically because at Chew were after some players. We had some good players, and we were looking to play at a higher standard. So it's Somerset County 3 football, which is higher standard than where we were last season, and it's the first team as well. So I was doing the reserves in a previous, growing a business and managing So like it's a Friday today, so as I get home, I have to fill out forms, pick the team. It is a balance between, but I quite enjoy it because it's similar pressures. and I can get work out of certain scenarios from doing it as well. And obviously we sponsor the football team, so put that out on socials as well. But I do enjoy it. It's hard work. You don't get you don't get any thanks for it. You're there on a Wednesday night down at Chew School with the cones and all the lads muck in, which is great. And it gives me a tap. Again, there's some of the guys at QSs that work for us, and some of the guys are working for clients that we can potentially work with. So it's another stream of bring it all together, and it works really well. I'm not saying I'm managing a football team just for work purposes, but it has its benefits.
You still got the phone around. Are you available on Saturday and all that?
Yeah,
so I remember from my playing days, it's
more WhatsApp rather than phone around these days. But I've got WhatsApp groups on WhatsApp groups. But I do enjoy it, and I play for the Vex team as well down there. So yeah, that's something else that I do. But my other half tells me all I do is work and play football. So there's other things I do as well. I go to the gym. I have to take the other half with me then as well. We do all sorts. We go to the beach. Got a dog, so we've got to keep him happy. He's a Cocker Spaniel, so that's a different breed altogether. Yeah. And we just try and chill out when we can. Like going to the beach, surfing. We play tennis, football, ski, all sorts.
Yeah, fantastic.
But it all revolves around work, obviously, and football.
Yeah. That sounds like that's a bit like me as well, to be fair. But
life's too short, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And you got to switch off, haven't you? You got to have a way to kind of even if it's not winding.
I get a bit bored when I switch off, though.
Do you?
Yeah, can always sit down for 10 minutes and thinking, what can I do next? All right. You switch off and your brain starts thinking about things. So maybe I need to do more of that, because that's potentially where you can push it to a next level.
Yeah.
Sat around a swimming pool in where did we go last year? Can't remember.
That's because you pushed it out. You think of something else. Yeah, that's always the way, and you always think about the next thing.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to switch off. Yeah, absolutely. Perils of running a business. Well, thank you for joining us, Gary.
No worries.
It's been really nice to meet you and learn more about Mode. You said Mode then. If people want to learn more about you, how can they find you?
So we have a website, but obviously it needs updating. Get in touch. We're on social media. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Give us a call or give us an email, garyfisher@modeconsult.com. And we have lots of subcontractors and consultants and engineers that want to join our wider Mode family. So the wider Mode family, which I haven't spoken much about, is generally we hold workshops. So we upskill our wider Mode family through, the biggest one is how to find good people and retain staff. So a lot of people come to that workshop, and we do it via a breakfast, or we go for a coffee, or even go out and have meals and a few drinks. So that's another way of winding down, even though we're still working, but networking. We do all sorts of things. We play, what have we done? Played five-a-side football, clay pigeons shooting, played indoor golf. The next one is paddle that we're looking to arrange. We've done that a few times and we really enjoyed it. We do all sorts. Anything. We go skiing together even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there's quite a little family you got going there.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, isn't it? So coming back to that previous question, if things go wrong, then, it's kind of, you can rely on your team around you, because you know that they can sort it out quite quickly. And it's all about having the right people around you to support you. So, I've known that all the way through my career. So it's something that we've pushed, and the Mode family is key to how we perform and can add further value to that whole process.
Fantastic. So there you go. So if you'd like to learn more about Gary and Mode and all those wonderful things he does with his team, then be sure to follow him on social media. And thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to let us know by dropping a comment and a like. We'll be linked to some of Gary's social media as well. Appreciate if you follow him and follow us. And thank you very much, Gary. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Bristol Business Podcast. Please remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe. If you are interested in appearing or sponsoring the podcast, contact details can be found in the episode description.